Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So what we have got here today is a really interesting value for money Chinese laptop called the Machenike L16 Air. Now this laptop is usually on sale on Lazada for under 3,000 ringgit, and what makes it really interesting is the specs that it offers that other mainstream laptops couldn't. This laptop is powered by a Ryzen 7 7735H processor with 16 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM and 512 gigs of NVMe storage. But the coolest part of this laptop right here is the design. Now look at this right here. Despite being a mainstream laptop, it has these three LED lighting here that makes it super cool and gives it a bit of a gaming vibe. So obviously this design is kind of taken from Alienware in some ways, and you might mistaken it as an Alienware laptop, but it is not. It is the Machenike L16 Air. So I've been using this laptop for about 2 months already and have been very satisfied with what this laptop is able to offer, and in fact it could do some pretty good gaming, and let me tell you all about it in today's video. So we have reviewed several Chinese laptops on the channel already, and the Machenike L16 Air happens to be one of the better ones that we have seen right here. In fact, Machenike didn't manufacture this laptop on their own because they commissioned a company called Clevo to manufacture this laptop according to their specifications. So don't be surprised if you happen to see the same keyboard, the same chassis on other OEM laptops, because Clevo does a lot of OEM for other laptop brands out there. But let's focus on this product right now. So as the name already suggests, the Machenike L16 Air has a 16-inch display, and this isn't any regular 16-inch display. It is a matte surface display with a very high resolution of 2560 by 1600 pixel resolution. So this is actually a pretty high resolution display for its class, and it also comes with a dynamic refresh rate of 120 Hz. It can switch between 60 and 120 whenever it needs to do it without any software intervention, and that is actually great if you want to save power. Now let's take a look at the chassis right here. Now this is a very nice smooth white color plastic chassis, and I really like this elegant design right here, but it actually worries me in the long term, because if I were to put this laptop in my bags and all that, it will definitely attract a bit of scratches, which in fact, it has already gathered a little bit of scratch right at the bottom here since I've been using this for about 2 months. So it's a pretty normal wear and tear. And if you want to keep this white color chassis clean and beautiful, I suggest that you apply some film on it to prevent it from being scratched. Otherwise, you can go pick up the gray color model of this laptop, but you lose out the blue color lighting that looks pretty much like an Alienware. Now, this is actually a pretty unusual design for a mainstream laptop. You are basically getting this exhaust style vents that is usually only available on gaming laptops, and I really like that Machenike has done this because it has better efficient cooling as compared to most mainstream laptops that they ventilate air through the sides and all that. So you get two vents here to ventilate heat out of the laptop, which is why this laptop has pretty good performance, and I'm going to show it to you later. But what's even more impressive is when you get this laptop, you will be impressed with how sleek it is. Now I don't have the exact measurements right here, but as you can see, it is a very, very slim laptop for a 16-inch device here. Now you get an SD card reader, a USB 2 port, USB 3, and a headphone jack on the right side. And turning over to the left side right here, you will find a USB-C port, which can be used for charging and storage. You also have an HDMI port. This is HDMI 2.0, by the way. You also get one more USB 3 port and one more USB-C port. So two of these ports can be used for charging and connecting storage. So this is actually a really good port selection for a 16-inch device here. Now I really love this two-tone paint job that Machenike has chosen for this laptop, because on the outside you have this really nice and elegant white color, and when you open up the laptop, and by the way, this can be lifted with one hand if you want to, it doesn't topple the whole laptop over, you get a nice matte black finishing that doesn't attract any smudges or scratches. It's not so visible at all, while you still have this white color frame around the screen to tell people that you are actually using a white color laptop. Now let's take a look at the keyboard layout right here. Now this is a pretty standard 16-inch keyboard layout that you will find out there. It is a nice full-size keyboard along with a numpad area. So for those who like to do a lot of Excel spreadsheets, this is going to be super useful. It is a backlit keyboard, by the way, and the keycaps actually feel a little small for my hands, but I got used to it after a while. But what I'm really happy is these directional keys. They don't feel small as well. They are full-size directional keys, unlike some other laptops that tend to make these like super small. But for that, you will have to compromise this small function row keys, which is fine because I hardly use them and I'll just need to make sure that I press the right button every time. Now, this trackpad is not the largest that we have seen out there, and I dislike the fact that it is aligned to the left side here. That is no thanks to these directional keys being too big right here. But compared to some other Chinese laptops that we have seen out there, this is already a pretty decent design that we have got right here. Now, it's just that this trackpad is not backlit, otherwise it would be super cool to have it backlit just like an Alienware laptop. So you got a power button right here, which I think is a really nice position to have the power button right here, and it also works as a fingerprint reader. Guys, this is actually pretty crazy here because, I mean, I'm not saying that mainstream laptops under 3,000 ringgit don't have a fingerprint reader, but you know, when you place it like on the center here and when you unlock your computer, it just feels so convenient to like press right over here and it unlocks your computer like right away. Now on the top here you get a webcam, and by all means it's not a pretty impressive webcam. It's just a standard 720p HD webcam that can get you through con calls without looking too ugly, but I do hope that it actually comes with a full HD camera. But you know, for that price I am not going to complain at all. Now, with all these excellent features and spec sheet, you might be wondering how is Machenike doing all this to make this laptop such an affordable device as compared to the mainstream brands. Because let's face it, if you were to take all this hardware and put it on an Acer or Dell or some other more mainstream brands, you would have paid at least 500 ringgit to 1,000 ringgit more for such kind of hardware. Well, I have two assumptions here. One of it would be manufacturing costs, because this is probably just a pretty standard laptop design that Machenike has commissioned Clevo to build on. And secondly, it would be the processor, which is crucial for the next part of this review, because the Ryzen 7 7735H processor isn't a globally available SKU that is available for other OEMs to buy, not unless you manufacture your laptop in China, because this processor is a China exclusive processor and it could be affordable if you use that processor back in China, which is the reason why this laptop could be so affordable. But despite having a Ryzen 7 H series processor on this laptop here, this Ryzen 7 7000 series chip unfortunately doesn't use the latest Radeon 780M chip that is available on the 7840H chipset that you may see on some gaming laptops or some mainstream laptops that are the mainstream brands that are selling right there. So we do expect a little bit of performance drop on this model right here, but to be honest, when I was using this laptop for the past 2 months, I didn't find that an issue at all. And now let's do some gaming on this laptop. Now, I don't usually start off with games like this on mainstream laptops, but the graphics performance of this laptop is really commendable that I just got to start off with Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Now, we are on medium graphics setting, running on its native resolution, the 2560 by 1600 pixel resolution. But one thing here is that we have AMD's FSR2 enabled with performance rendering. So it is actually rendering a lower resolution even though it is running on a native 2560 by 1600 pixel resolution. Alright, so just watch on the gameplay. So as you can see, we're getting like about 34-35 FPS. It's not the most playable frame rate on PC by all means, but I mean, look, the PS4 is also running on 30 FPS if you play this game, and sometimes there are also frame drops if you play this game on the PS4. So I have to say that it is actually kind of okay if you were to play Uncharted 4: A Thief's End on this laptop. Alright, so we are moving Nathan around. Obviously there's some frame drops going on. That's because we have a lot of people in this hall. Okay, let's go. Now look at the graphics detail here. Even though it is like medium graphics setting, the hair strands are being rendered so well, which shows how this game is pushing the limits of graphics card, you know, because even on the PS4, you know, it is running on a really old hardware, but you know, it really pushes the PS4 to render such kind of graphics, and it looks even more incredible on PC graphics. Now in terms of CPU temperatures when it is on load, we are seeing a 90 degrees Celsius, which is actually super decent considering you are gaming on the laptop. And to be honest, the cooling fans are like super quiet. They are not even spinning up to its maximum speed, you know, which makes me wonder if the performance will be even better if it's spin even faster. But yeah, we're also seeing a pretty low CPU utilization of around 41%, 40 to 50% when we are running games here. So obviously the GPU is taking a lot of load off the CPU, even though it's integrated GPU. But yeah, it still works pretty fine.
Weddings, mitzvahs.
Okay, so we've got to the next part of the game here. So we are now in the basement, running along, and as you can see, since there are a lot of like moving textures and details, we are getting around 36, 38 FPS, around 40 FPS. So yeah, this is actually pretty playable, to be honest, and I think it looks way better than you do on the PS4. Alright, so the next game that we are trying out here is The Witcher 3. A classic but still extremely graphics demanding game by modern standards. Now, we are on medium graphics setting, running on a 1920 by 1200 pixel resolution, and we are getting around 29 FPS as of now. It will sometimes go up to like more than 30, and I have to say that this frame rate is actually pretty impressive for integrated graphics, because it's not something that you could get a couple of years back. But yeah, this under 3,000 ringgit laptop can do AAA gaming like this with this kind of graphic setting. Of course, if you lower down the graphic setting, it is going to be even better, right? So even in combat, you might want to lower graphic setting, because obviously, since we're in this scene here, it's not taking a lot of resources to load these textures. And all thanks to AMD's FSR, we are getting really, really good performance here. Alright, so that's a fair bit of gaming that we have done on the Machenike L16 Air, so it gives you a really good idea on how this laptop will perform if we are doing some CPU intensive tasks right here. So not only I've done lightweight gaming on this laptop, I've also done some lightweight video editing on Premiere Pro, and it works fine. So just don't add too much layers and all that, and you'll be fine with the Machenike L16 Air. Now, in terms of battery life, it's not the best that I've seen on a mainstream laptop, but it isn't the worst as well. It will last around 5 hours on a single charge, which I feel that it's kind of okay for such kind of laptops. And in terms of charging, it supports USB PD, there's no DC port or whatsoever, and it goes up to 100 watts, and that is really impressive. It charges really fast when you need to use it and when the battery runs low. So that's all for my thoughts on the Machenike L16 Air laptop. It is a really decent laptop that I've thoroughly enjoyed for the past 2 months, especially for the features and performance that it offers that other laptops couldn't at that kind of price range. It is available for purchase right now, and as usual, it is now under 3,000 ringgit at this time of shooting. So definitely go check it out if you want a decent laptop with a big 16-inch display that has a high refresh rate, and most importantly, it offers really, really good performance. Alright, so that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos coming right up on the channel, and give us a thumbs up if you love what you saw, and I will see you guys in the next one.